My favorite band is One Direction. Hey guys, it's Christian here from Christian's Crazy Life, and I'm going to be talking about the time I met Pentatonix. I'm going to be mentioning Twitter and Pentatonix a lot in this video, so get ready for that. Now, if you didn't know, I'm a huge Pentatonix fan, obviously from the shirt, lanyard, bags and stuff. My parents are pentaholics. They're super great. I wouldn't be able to do this without their help because they're so nice and amazing, so thank you, Mom and Dad. I wanted to tell this story for you guys just so I have it here and I can just look back on it. Now, the story wouldn't be fair to start unless I started at the very beginning. So I've been a fan of Pentatonix for about a year now. I started listening to them in like December of 2014. That's when I heard like their Christmas music, but I didn't become a fan until March of 2015. When I first heard their music, I thought it was really cool and just wanted to listen to more and get to know them more, and that's when I joined Twitter. I didn't really know what to expect. I just kind of wanted to follow them, and since then I've made so many good friends that I wouldn't have met otherwise, and just because I was part of this Pentatonix fandom, the Pentaholics, we rock. Before September of 2015, I had just been using Twitter to keep up. I was like talking to people, replying to their tweets, just kind of using it casually, until I figured out that they were going to be holding a meet and greet in New York City in September. So when I found this out, I was like, yes, this is my chance. I've never met them before, and I just really want to go see my favorite people. I saw the tweet come up and I was like reading it, and I turned to my mom and I'm like, hey, we should definitely go to New York. And at the time we were in Pennsylvania, it was like 4 hours away. It was still a far way to drive in a day. Before I start going into New York City, I wanted to talk about how I met Scott Hoying first. Now, he was the first member that I met of the band, and this wasn't at like a meet and greet or anything. It kind of happened like randomly, so we were in New York City anyway, and I was scrolling through Twitter, and then I saw this tweet come up, and I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? And it was Scott Hoying. He tweeted that he would be in Times Square filming a little bit of the music video for Sing. And Sing is one of the songs in their original album, which was released earlier, and they were doing some promotion in New York. We had maybe like an hour notice to get to the middle of Times Square. This was like 8:30 at night. I went up to my dad and I'm like, Dad, we have to go meet Scott Hoying. And he was just like, yes, let's go. Just get ready. Like, we didn't want to drive into Times Square because there'd be nowhere to park. So we ran to the subway, which wasn't too far away, luckily. And at the time, I was like frantically tweeting at Scott. I'm like, please wait, stop, we're getting there, we're going there. Just wait for us to show up. So we went down into the subway, and that's when I lost signal on my phone. But that's okay, as long as we get there by like 9:15. I was like watching the clock, and because I didn't want to be late. Of course, the subway took like forever to get there. I'm like standing against the wall, like, please, please, please let this happen. We get on the subway, and by the time we even like get back out of the subway, it's like 9 o'clock. It was dark. We were 10 blocks away from Times Square, and it was raining. So these are not good things. So we crossed the street and then just ran as fast as we could. I was tweeting at him so much, but I was like taking pictures of Times Square as we were like running in the rain. We finally made it to Times Square with like 5 minutes to spare. I like stopped for a minute. I'm like, oh my god, like this is it. I'm actually meeting him. And then I was like kind of nervous to go and talk to him. His camera guy was like, let's go under this awning so that way we don't get wet. Moved with him, and then he like turned to me and then he's like, hi. I was like, hey, it's so nice to meet you. Can we take a picture? My leg was shaking so hard, and I was like standing here taking a selfie, and I'm like, this is Scott Hoying, oh my gosh. And then my dad took some pictures. I'll put them up. Now, I didn't get a chance to say much just because I was so nervous and like excited, but I was super glad to meet him. And also at one point there was like a guy walking down Times Square like in a Batman costume, and he stopped with Scott to say hi, so that was weird. So that was the story of how I met Scott Hoying in the first place. So then fast forward like a couple days, maybe a week or so, they were like, we're having a meet and greet, it's official. That morning they were scheduled to go on to the Today Show. I was like, okay, if we're gonna go, let's go to the Today Show in the morning and then just stay all day and wait for the meet and greet, which I think was at like 3 o'clock. It's worth it if we're gonna go and see them. We might as well go to the Today Show. They might perform a few songs or something, and we can see him there. My mom was hesitant at first. She was just like, no, that's such a far drive. It was like 4 hours. And so she's like, okay, here's what we can do. She put me up to a challenge. You tweet out something, you tell people that you're gonna go meet Pentatonix, but the only way I'm going to drive you is if you get 25 people to respond to your tweet telling you why I should go meet Pentatonix. And at the time we were sitting in the car like coming up with this idea, like going back and forth, should we go, should we not? And Can't Sleep Love came on the radio, and I'm like, yes, this is definitely a sign that we have to go to New York. I tweeted that. I was like, this must be a sign we really want to go. It's a sign. I don't want to go to New York! Filmed a video of Can't Sleep Love on the radio, and then Scott favorited it. And meanwhile, I put up this tweet, and We were in the car, and maybe an hour later, there was already like 25 responses. Everyone was super nice, and thank you so much to everyone who did that, because without that, I wouldn't have been able to go. With that, we got 25 responses really quick, like within the hour. And so my mom was like, okay, we have to go now. We were still kind of deciding whether or not we should go. You got the responses, but it's really far. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed and we'll see what happens tomorrow. At that point, I was asleep, and then my mom came in and she woke me up, and it was like 1 in the morning, and then she's like, do you want to go see Pentatonix? Oh, what? Do you want to go see Pentatonix? I'm like, yes, of course. We jumped in the car, we packed some backpacks, we got cameras, and we got in the car at 1 in the morning and started driving up. It's 1:51 in the morning, and we're headed to go see Pentatonix on the Today Show. This marks the beginning of our journey, and hopefully we don't go crazy on the drive there. We can't sleep, love! This was really fun. I had never heard the album before. On the drive up there, we listened to the whole album. We were going to meet them in a few hours, and it was just fantastic. I thought all the songs were super great, and I still do. It was just like the best time, just driving up with my mom. And we finally got there, we got into the city, and then we had to go park. Sweet baby Jesus, please help us.
See what you people have made me do, you see?
This was weird. Like, the guy there, he like didn't speak very much English. I had to like call him like on the phone and be like, hey, can you open the door please? So we finally parked the car, and then we got out and went to the Today Show. We thought there was gonna be like a huge line, and instead we got there and we were like the second in line. There was like no one there. We made it. Great. We woke up super early to get here, and there's only like 2 other people in line with us. We waited outside. There was a guy like with a food truck, and obviously had done it a few times before. As the hours went on, there were other people that started to join in line with us, and I had my camera out, and I saw that they were rehearsing in the Today Show studio. That was like the first time I saw them in real life. Right there. It was probably like 6 in the morning, and they were just rehearsing there. I stood there and I was like, yes, this is Pentatonix and this is happening. And at that time I went back into line. I talked to my mom. I'm like, they're here. This is great. About 6 o'clock, we started filing into the square where they filmed the outside shots. They had a chance to make a sign if you wanted to make a sign for them, and I did. I was like, I love PTX. It was like in brown marker. They had no other color. We walked around the corner, went right up to the fence, and we stood there the whole time they were taping. I got to see Pentatonix super close. Unfortunately, they did not come out and perform. They were just performing in the studio the whole time. We couldn't hear them very well out there. It's like they had monitors and you could watch them on there. But it was still super cool to be so close, and knowing that we were going to meet them anyway later in the day made up for it. And also on top of that, the people from the Today Show, they came outside. They had cameras that would like come down, and then you'd have to cheer. It was a super fun time, and I'm glad we went. And while we were at the Today Show, we got pins. I met a few other pentaholics while I was there. I would definitely do it again. We had to wait a few hours before the actual meet and greet would happen. We decided to walk around a little bit. There was a Today Show store. They had some cool stuff. And then we decided, let's go back to the Today Show and let's wait for them to come out, because one of the workers told us that they had like limos, and so she's like, sometimes they come out this door over on the side of the building. If you want to stand there and wait for them, you might be able to see them. Sometimes they come out another door. You just have to be careful and watch and make sure that you get them as they walk out. Okay, great. We don't have anything else better to do. We waited for a while. There was paparazzi everywhere, so we waited outside. There was doors like right in front of us. At one point, Nicole Scherzinger came out and Zooey Deschanel came out. And I'm like, whoa, this is cool. I know who these people are, but I didn't even care at that point. I was like, I just want to see Pentatonix. And then my mom was like, okay, I'm going to go around the corner and I'm going to stand here in case we miss them. I'll just call you if something happens. That sounds good. I'll wait here. Meanwhile, she's standing out there, and all of a sudden they walk out the doors towards her. I'm standing at the other set of doors over on the other side of the building, so I have no way of knowing that they're standing like right in front of my mom. I'm like, okay, I've been waiting for a long time. Let me go check on her. I go around the corner and there they are. She's like, oh my god, Christian, come here, go say hi or something. And at that point I had no clue what to say to them. So it was Avi, Kirstin, and Kevin. So they were walking by with like their assistants. They had their clothes, and my mom took some pictures. I was like, okay, I have to say something. And then I ran up to Kevin and I'm like, I love you so much. I love your music. He turns his head real quick and then he's like, thank you, sir. I love you guys. Good work.
Oh, thank you, sir.
And then I like run away as fast as I can. I have to go and cry now. We didn't see Scott and Mitch yet, so we're like, let's go wait in the lobby, and at that point we both had to use the bathroom. So we asked the security guard, points us in the right direction. While I'm standing there, my mom's like, I'll be right back. And as I'm standing there, I see Tyler Oakley and Mitch Grassi, like 50 feet away. And I don't want to like go up and talk to them because the security guard who led us to the bathrooms is standing right there and like staring at me. I like casually start walking up. My mom gets back from the bathroom, so I wait by the escalators just out of the view of the security guard. Guess who decides to walk up the stairs directly towards me is Tyler Oakley and Corey Cole. Tyler Oakley had just released his new book, Binge. I'm like, hi, you're super great. Do you mind taking a picture? My mom printed it out for Christmas for me and put it into the Binge book. And it turned out super cute. And then he's like, okay, I gotta go. And so he goes out the door and I'm just like, whoa. And that was just the starting of the morning. Still had a lot of time to kill. We passed the time and it goes by pretty quickly. We saw the Planet Hollywood where the meet and greet was going on. And there was already a line of people like at the door. We woke up like at 1 in the morning. So we were like asleep on the stairwell. And it was like 1,000,000 degrees in there. So finally it came our time to go up the stairs, go to the meet and greet, and meet them. So like I said, we got this wristband. You had to buy the album to go to the meet and greet and the signing. There was TV screens that were playing music videos, got in line, and again, there was more waiting. I probably heard like the album 7 times because they just played it so much. And then the time came. Everybody's like singing along, having a great time, and we see them, everyone starts screaming, they start cheering. So they're standing in front of, it's like a big album cover. Scott took the microphone and he started talking and he's like, hey, thank you for being here. And then Kirstin grabs the microphone and then she's like, I have to go real quick. I'm going to go to a charity event, so if you want to wait, then wait for me to get back. So she leaves and there all the boys are left, Kevin, Avi, Scott, and Mitch. They're standing there and then they sit down in the chairs where they're going to start the signing. So everybody has their albums out, they're ready to go, and then it begins. All of a sudden, I'm like at the table and I'm standing in front of Avi and he's like staring at me. And then he's like, hi, how's it going? And I'm like, it's like I had what I wanted to say all planned, and then I see him, and then I'm just like, you're so real. And then that's all I said to him. Hey. Pretty good. You're so real. I can't believe it. I mean, this is so exciting. Thank you so much. So I move over, I see Scott. Earlier in the day, he followed me on Twitter. Also, at the time, Pentatonix retweeted one of my tweets, so you could tell he kind of recognized me at the meet and greet. And then he's like, hey, and then he's like, you drove for 4 hours to get here, right? I'm like, he knows who I am. Hey, what's up? I saw you at the Today Show, and I was trying to say hi, and I was like waving and everything, and you guys retweeted me, so I have 4 hours, right? Yeah. Wow, well, thanks for being here. Thank you. Oh my god. And I move on to Mitch. I just like stare at him. We don't talk too much. Hi. Love you. Bye. I move on to Kevin, and I do the same thing. I'm just like, I love you so much. Hey, love your music. Thank you. Thank you. And then we move on, and that's it. So this is what I got from them. Everyone signed it. It's Avi, Kirstin, Scott, Mitch, and Kevin. So after we met the boys, we went back in line and had to wait like another hour or 2 before we got to see Kirstin. And I talked to her. Same process, and I kind of cut her off, I think, because I was super excited. That was my experience of meeting Pentatonix in New York, and it was a crazy experience. It was great, and I loved every second of it. So now I'm going to fast forward a lot of months to April 14th, and that was the day of my first official concert. I was planning to go to a concert in the summer of 2015, see them with Kelly Clarkson on tour, or the show that I was going to ended up being canceled, so I never got to see them. When the tickets came out, I became a Patreon, so that way I could get like the pre-order and get it before everyone else. They have 3 levels of VIP. I got the first level, which was a photo op and a signing of like 1 item. They did have 2 other levels. The second one was sound check, and then the third level was private performance, and it sold out super quick, like within 2 minutes. So the day of the concert, I was super nervous, but very, very excited. So the first thing we did was paint our nails. Me, my mom, and my brother painted our nails. Also, at the time, I was writing a gift box. It was like a bunch of index cards where I wrote small messages. I asked people on Twitter to send me messages to send to them. I gave it to them at the meet and greet. And the last thing I did before we left for the concert was make a "We Could Be Kings of the World" sign. This was for a project that a person made on Twitter. Their name is PTX_daily. And they made a really cool project where basically at the end of the concert, they would sing New Year's Day, and everyone would hold up their signs, and it said, "We could be kings of the world." Oh, and we got in the car and we left. And I knew some friends from Twitter that were going to be at the same show, and I was super excited to meet them. I actually met quite a lot while I was there. I'll put pictures of them here. My brother and my dad did not have VIP. It was just me and my mom. So we got out of the car, we got dropped off. Around that time, it was about 4:15, and that's when they started letting people in for the VIP. At that point, we got to a table where a man was sitting there, and he was like, okay, let me see your tickets. Once we showed him the tickets, he gave us this. And it says Pentatonix World Tour 2016 VIP. But the coolest part of this is on the back. It's like a hologram, and it changes color. So you can just flip it back and forth, and it changes. From that point, we were waiting in line, not very long, maybe like 10 minutes. And then the guard, he moved up, and he's like, okay, follow me. And as we were walking, I saw the sound check, like, stage going on. So we were like one of the first people in line. The guy who was leading us was like, I can only fit 8 people into an elevator at one time. So just come with me, and we'll slowly start taking you guys up. So we're the first ones in the elevator, and we start going up, and we get there, and then the door doesn't open, and so everyone's just kind of like laughs nervously. They're like, and it's starting to get like hot in there. There's like a bunch of people shoved together, and finally we go up for the 3rd time, and then the doors open, and everyone's like, yes. And then we got in line, and we waited, and then it starts. The members like walk by, you see them, everybody starts cheering. My mom's plan was, she gave me the idea of having all the boys wear devil horns and have Kirstin wear angel wings. This girl named Kate, she like runs the Snapchat, she's super nice. She saw me, and I'm like, hi, is it okay if I bring these like in there? And she's like, all right, I'll let you go as long as you're quick. So I turn the corner, and all of them are just standing right there, and I see them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was just not prepared for this. And I'm like, hi, do you mind putting these on? So they're like, oh yeah, sure, no problem, nice to meet you. Who's gonna be the angel? So I like point to Kirstin, and then everyone's like, of course, yeah. Mitch was holding them, and then I like handed them all to him, and then he like dropped them. And I didn't even see what the photo was gonna look like because I was standing just looking at the camera, and I couldn't like look around to see what was going on because you only got 2 pictures. So I was like, okay, I'll just smile, and hopefully they do a good pose. These were my pictures. I couldn't have hoped for a better picture. I'm so glad that they did it. So thanks to that. We got back in line. We got a poster. And along with that poster, we got a tote bag, and we also got a pair of sunglasses with Pentatonix on the side. And then it came time to meet them and like talk to them, and I got some audio of the meet and greet. I'll try and put that here if I can figure it out. If not, I'll link down below where you can listen to it. So Avi was first. He's like, hey, what's up, man? And I'm like, hi. Nice to meet you. Same thing as New York. I was just like so excited to talk to them. I had what I was gonna say planned, but I just went with it and was just like, hello, nice to meet you. So as they were signing the poster, I asked them to sign one more thing, and it was this picture. They all signed it. This is my username on Twitter. If you want to follow me, it's at PTX Taco. Anyway, Pentatonix retweeted this tweet. Avi like signed it. He said hi. I moved on to Kirstin next, so I was like, you look beautiful today, just like he did at the New York signing. Then I moved on to Scott, and at that point, he was the one that I kind of like saw the most, and he interacts with me more, and he saw this, and then he's like, oh, I remember this, wild. And I was like, oh my gosh, he remembers who I am. And so it was really cool to know that he remembered me from that long ago. And I was like, this is my first concert that I'm going to, and then my mom turns and she's like, dang, Kelly Clarkson, because she was the one who canceled the tour. Mitch like laughed, like you could hear him laughing in the background, and I'm like, oh my gosh. He's like, well, thank you for coming. This tour is a really good one to come to because it's a super great show. Then from that point I moved to Mitch, and I still had the gift box like in my hand that I hadn't given to anyone yet, and I gave him the box, and I like kind of did a bad job of explaining it because I was so excited. I'm like, here's a box, it's messages. Like that's what I was basically explaining it as. He took it and like looked at me in the eyes the whole time, which I appreciated. It just made me feel really special that he was like actually caring about what I had to say. He's like, thank you so much, this is really sweet. And I was like, yeah, no problem. Glad I could make it. Now I'm like, thank you for being you and just so like confident and everything like that. And he was like, oh yeah, thank you, that's very nice. And then I moved on to Kevin, and then he's like, hey man, thanks for coming. And that was the end of the meet and greet. So this is the poster that I got signed. Everybody's signature is there. Luckily we didn't have to wait for Kirstin this time. I found it funny because Scott, his like head was too tall to fit it where everybody else is signed, like right above their heads. So he had to sign it up here. We got back into line for the 3rd time, and they gave us these wristbands, which are for general admission. We were like one of the first groups to go out, So we started like running as fast as we could so that we would get a good spot once we got to the general admission pit. So we were like running down a bunch of stairs, and it led us right to the merch booth. Nobody was like sure what to do. We weren't sure if we should like stop and buy our merch yet, or if we should go to the actual seating area. These two security guards, they're like, hey, you can't come up here, we don't really know what to tell you. And we're like, oh, we're VIP, we have the general admission wristband, we just want to get to the stage. And they're like, oh, you're VIP, so go this way past the snack bar. So everyone starts running because they want to get a great spot. I run down as fast as I can the stairs, show my wristband, and then get to the front of the stage. And there was only probably like 10 people that were there in front of the stage. So we got like right in the corner, right where they like stepped down the stage. It's like I was probably an arm's length away from the stage the whole entire concert. So then we made it to the barrier. My mom was with me. I was wearing the devil horns. Saran was with me. She also wore devil horns. And then people started coming in. And the show didn't start until 9:30 at night, which was pretty late. Like at 8:30 was this guy named AJ. He sang a few songs. Us, the duo, came on. They're a group, and they came on and did a really great performance. From that point, the show was just about to start, and a couple minutes after that, they came on stage and the show began. So all the lights went out, and there was like these boxes. They were all standing in them. Everyone just went wild in the theater. The whole time, I took one video. My mom took all the pictures. For me, because I just wanted to enjoy it and not have to look at it like through a screen. My mom took all the pictures. You can see a lot of them here. I'll definitely put some pictures so you can see them at the end of this. And it was so incredible. There's like no words to describe how amazing it was. We were so close, and like it always like astounds me that they don't need instruments to produce a sound that they do. And so like the whole show I was like making eye contact with Avi, and he was super nice, and at one point I was like smiling, and then he was smiling back, and I was like, yes, this is incredible. Mitch looked at me once and I was like, ugh, and I screamed. So I recommend, if you have the chance, if they're coming to a city near you, definitely go buy your tickets, buy the VIP. It was worth like every single cent. It was incredible. They have a song on the album called Misbehavin'. At one point in the show, they put up beanbags onto the stage and picked 5 people from the audience to come up and sing with them on the beanbags and sing Misbehavin'. We got to touch hands with Avi and Kevin and Kirstin, and Scott came down, and we got to like just like be super close. Like I could reach out and like touch I thought them. That was a really cool part of the show because they used to have Chair Girl before, but this time they included the beanbag so that way more people could participate. After the show was over, I was super sad because I was like, it's over, but it was incredible. I was still like buzzing from the show. Avi, at one point, he was standing in the middle of like the catwalk, and he's standing there and he's like, I just want to say that it's kind of strange, like we're nerds and you're coming to see us, like all of you people are coming to see us. And he's like, I love your support and everything like that. And like when the lights were going out a little bit, Scott was talking to Kirstin, and then he mouthed like, I love them, as in like meaning like the crowd, I would think. And they were just super into the performance. My favorite part of the show was when they sang Light in the Hallway off the microphone, and the whole stadium was like completely silent. This is what I've been waiting for so long for, to see them in concert, and it was incredible. It was just the best experience. On the ride back home, we were just talking about the concert and everything, and it was super exciting, and it was just a great show. When we got home, I was sitting down, and of course the first thing that happens is I look at my phone, or the PTX official account on Twitter mentioned me, and they're like, hope you had fun at PTX Taco, which is my username, and they gave me the virtual set list for the show. The virtual set list is basically they all sign the set list, and then they write like a little message to just a fan that was tweeting at the show, and that was me. I was like tweeting the whole time. It was probably like 1 in the morning, so I just couldn't believe that this was happening. And I woke up the next morning, and people were still like, my notifications were still blowing up and everything. Just to make it all even better, I tweeted Avi Kaplan, and then he followed me and liked my tweet. And then if that wasn't enough, because I was still like freaking out about that, Kirstin took that picture and cropped me out. Like, I'm gonna be shady for a second, but don't crop out your fans. I'm sorry. Still love you, Kirstin. She took the picture of Scott and her and her angel wings and him in devil horns, and then posted it onto her Instagram, and posted it on Twitter as well. Just on top of everything else that had happened, that was just like amazing. And that was pretty much the experience of how I met Pentatonix. I know, like, pentaholics are the sweetest people, that I wouldn't have met otherwise unless I was part of your fandom, so thank you for that. And again, I would highly recommend the show. If there's ever a chance for you to go to it, just go. Even if you get just a seat in the back or something, it doesn't have to be anything special. Just go to the show. It's definitely worth it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've ever been to a show before, or if you're going to a show, let me know down below. Like, let me know if you've ever met them before, or if you'd like to meet them. I would love to read those comments below. If you enjoyed this video, you can give a thumbs up. If you really want to be helpful, you can share this video with Pentatonix. You can either like DM it to them, or you can share it on Twitter, so that way they can see this video. Bye. Sorry, Avi just tweeted, "Wow, I'm such trash, I gotta favorite it." Okay, great. Favorite it.